Russ The Suss is now declaring himself mayor of Otter Creek again and having illegal conversations about town hall business outside of a locked town hall building. This man must really, really want this French toast casserole recipe. After a 7-hour day of depositions of Lynette, myself, George, and some others went to town hall for the town hall meeting, which is scheduled on the third Tuesday of every month. And as we got out, we saw there was a posting on the door, and we filmed that posting on the door that the door was canceled. Now, we always show up early, up to an hour early, and that's for a number of different reasons. Number one, we want to have a good seat, so we can see all the real life action that nobody can believe is even happening, right? Number two, sometimes we help set up. It's just neighborly thing to do in your community. If there's anything we can help with sound, even though last meeting, Don was complaining he couldn't hear, and yet he won't use the microphone system or the speaker system that was donated and gifted. Number three, if we're there early, individuals that may show up illegally, they gotta leave or get arrested. And you're thinking, what, a town hall meeting? Somebody could get arrested at a town hall meeting? Well, come on. Russ has tried with me already just for making a public records request. Remember when Russ was like, will you remove him? And the Levy County deputies were like, So, Lynette, John Crook, we have a full civil protection order on them from the state of Ohio, which Florida legally, both state and federally, must enforce. And they now are completely, wholly, every word, every letter, every dot, every cross of the T. It is now in full enforcement, and they are actually going back and investigating every incident that happened when they weren't fully enforcing, but they legally had to. So if John or Lynette, the crook or the lie, show up, you mean they get arrested? Absolutely. They're not allowed to be within 500 foot of myself or George. You go, okay, hold a second, but Judge DeThomas has put a temporary order on you, Jeremy. Yeah, he did. It's 500 foot as well. He goes, well, how would that work? Well, most people have this misconception of if you have a temporary or a final injunction or civil protection order on somebody, that whoever shows up first, they get to stay, the other person has to leave. Well, that is not the way that the Ohio Civil Protection Order works at all. It is not a mutual. There is no such thing as a mutual protection order. It is Lynette and John, Lynette and the crook have to stay 500 feet away from us. If they're on their property and we're on our property across the street, they have to stay 10 feet away from us. They cannot be in any public or private building. Yeah, that includes the sheriff's station. That includes the town hall. And you go, well, Jeremy, but you've got a temporary on you right now. And it's based on something somebody else she claimed did. Remember when she claimed my lawyer tried to bribe her to make this all go away? And it's a complete and total lie. And then there was a temporary put on me, not based on what I did. And remember, this whole hearing here in Florida is not based on what I've done. It's based on what potentially she's claiming others have done. All right, so it's not based on what I've done. It doesn't matter if there's a temporary on me because there's a full, final civil protection order for George. Lynette, the crook, can't be within 500 feet of her. No public, no private, any building. It doesn't matter. Sheriff's station is not a safe place. You both can't be at the sheriff's station at the same time. It doesn't work that way. Any, not an exception, any. Every letter, every word, every aspect of the Ohio Civil Protection Order is now being enforced to its complete and total and whole. And they've broken it over and over and over and over again. And they can't be on any private or public road. So if you go back and you think, well, John's in the middle of the road with a walker. First of all, why is John in the middle of the road? Second of all, why is she complaining? Oh, John's on a walker with wrappings up to his crotch. Well, he obviously got from the camper or the shed or the back of the property up to the road. Therefore, couldn't he have just stayed on the property if he was measuring, and he would have been legal if he was on the property? He was not legal because he got in the road. That was illegal, and there will be charges because of that. So they cannot, by any aspect of any what if, I don't know, what about this? She cannot run, and he cannot run for town council. They can't even be near the town hall meeting or in the town hall meeting if myself or George are there. And we will ensure that we're there to keep them away because they are an endangerment to not only myself and George, but to others. And so people are going, but she put in her letter. She's interested. She wants the position. She legally can't hold the position. She cannot be within 500 feet. And you go, well, what if they put her on Zoom? She cannot speak to me or George through any third party either. So if she was on town council and talking to the representatives of the town, which we are, then she goes to jail. She cannot legally be a part of this. He cannot legally be a part of this. And you're going, is that real? Yeah, it's 100% real. They can't be at town hall if we're at town hall, nor can they serve on the council legally at all. And if they tried, would it be illegal? Yep. Oh, but there were so many more illegal things going on that night. So we show up early, like we normally do. There's a notice. It's canceled. Nobody is around. We leave. What would you do? There's literally nobody around. And its notice is right there. It says it's canceled. So we leave. We go on with our life. Biggest regret right now of that day is not staying. Well, let me take back those words that it was just George and I and nobody else is around. Because there's a big creeper in the bushes stalking us. You want to know who's going to get the next legal notice? You better get that legal team all set and ready. Because this individual is literally stalking us in the bushes, the weeds. He's stalking. And it's creepy beyond creepy, especially with females around. We go on with our evening. Unbeknownst to us, everybody's showing up at 7 o'clock. And here, Russ the Suss is outside of town hall, conducting information, sharing information illegally. Let me back that up with sunshine law. There cannot be any conversation whatsoever outside of town hall business in an actual meeting about town hall business. Russ the Suss can't speak with Don the Con about it. Don the Con can't speak with Russ the Suss about it. But it's very evident, and you can tell that these two have already planned this from the get-go. And so here they are outside of town hall saying this is an illegal cancellation of a meeting. Now hold a second.
They got the email prior.
Okay, hold a second.
They confirmed it in the video.
So we understand they got an email. Okay, so number one, if it's an emergency and they got an email, it seems to me that it's not illegal. Now, what was illegal when Russ the Suss cancels the meeting, shuts down town hall for over 2.5 months, and then tells Channel 20, what emergency? There's no emergency. Watch this.
Can you repeat that one more time?
If it's not an emergency, there ain't no clerk, there ain't no show.
Do you guys follow sunshine laws? Because that is something that needs to.
Absolutely. We have to follow the sunshine laws. Yes, we follow the sunshine laws.
What happened to ain't no clerk, ain't no show, and yet he's outside of town hall putting on a show for everybody, thinking he's somehow the new mayor, he's gonna win. And this fool makes it so easy. I mean, so easy. I don't understand how you can have this level of ignorance and then Don to come along the side of him with another complete and total aspect level of ignorance. And you utterly, completely, totally incriminate yourself on video. And it's captured and it's being reported. I don't get it. So you're out there saying, this is corrupt. That's funny. Russ the Suss saying that it's corrupt after all that Russ the Suss is doing and done. And then you've got other individuals. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Individuals that made comments stating that they didn't want to be on camera and yet they have no problem getting on camera. And I understand there's a frustration viewing that and seeing that and going, okay, this doesn't make sense. They said they don't like being on camera, but now they have no problem being on camera. Listen, I can't speak for every individual. What I can speak for is what Russ did and Don did, discussing information about a town hall breaks sunshine law. Period. They are not in a meeting. There is no meeting. There is no meeting opening. There is no quorum. If it's just Russ and it's just Don, there's no quorum. There is no clerk because there was no show, and yet he goes on to put on this Muppet show. It's time to get things started. Yeah, okay. It just goes on, and it's so cringy what these individuals do. And I can't comprehend the level of ignorance, complete and total ignorance, to sit there and go, we're winning, I'm taking it back, I've been in a conversation with the lawyer, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we gotta do that. And he's literally discussing town hall business, breaking sunshine law, claiming that he's winning when he's actually incriminating himself further and further. I can't stress this enough. They literally just make it too easy. Like, it is too easy. They are so ignorant, so foolish, they make it too easy. If they dislike me this much, come on, think this through, okay? Let's think this through together. If they hate the YouTuber and they hate that the YouTuber films, why keep giving him more content and more content and more content? This is my life. This is where I live. They wanted to steal money from me. By the way, there's going to be more content in regards to that. Now that Madam Mayor has stepped down and she did an incredible job, if there's any aspect, George and I have let off based off of the town going the right direction. So yeah, there's been one lawsuit already. And look at piles for future lawsuits right here. Piles and piles. Folders of future lawsuits right here. You see this all here? This is all, see all the notes? Mm-hmm. See it right there? That is all for future lawsuits for Otter Creek. And what we did, now that we got all the information, we pulled back and went, you know what? We were patient. And we gave grace upon grace for 3 years. And all we got was grief. And we never got any of their information. And we got bigotry from them and hatred from them and thievery and talking about behind each other's backs. Here's the one thing I think they don't like about me the most. They all talk behind each other's backs. I tell you the way it is to your face. I don't think they've ever met an individual that'll literally tell you the way it is to your face. And I have no problem. And I believe if I would have been there that night, they wouldn't have been so, yeah. But thankfully, I wasn't there that night because they did do what they did. And now it can be reported. And they have yet caught themselves in a huge issue with breaking sunshine law. Now you're thinking, well, all right, it's Russ the Suss, Don the Con. George and I thought it was because Don the Con wouldn't show up. And who would? After all the information that's being exposed about his wife, who would, right? And yet, Don the Con is there, running his mouth. He says he can't hear, but he's running his mouth. Do you understand the liability they've placed this town in with Rosemary running multiple businesses from Town Hall? As a matter of fact, I'm apt right now to contact every single one of those individuals, and I have tons and tons and tons in the public records and say, hey, listen, Rosemary Severino actually did this illegally, and I thought you would like to know that all of your public information now, your purchases and your charters and your name and your number, it's been all made public information because she illegally did this in Town Hall. You have a complete and total grounds for a lawsuit, a huge lawsuit against Rosemary, which, by the way, nothing's in Don's name. It's all in Rosemary's name. And I'm sure all these individuals that she did this to would love to know this information. Oh, by the way, we also have a lawyer that has come to us and said, listen, anybody who's willing to come forward and talk about how Russ the Suss, Russell Meeks Sr., misused his power for favors to turn your water back on, he'll make you rich. All you got to do is contact us and we'll connect you with him. He will make you rich. I find this whole incident humorous and sad that people could be so gullible. Well, even look at this. Somebody made a comment and said, Russ the Suss is thinking he's taking over. He reminds me of Trump. Lie. Now, I want to be very clear. What the Hales is not about politics. I don't care what side you're on. We can all agree to disagree on things and still be friends. So I don't need different comments in the video about this side or that side. I don't care about Republicans. I don't care about Democrats. I don't care about liberals. I don't care about these things. And I won't allow it on the channel. But I'm sharing this with you because then this ignorant fool who doesn't even live in Otter Creek responds and says, he is Trump for Otter Creek. People want him to be mayor of Otter Creek. They don't want the rich to be the mayor. Okay. All right. Okay. Last I checked, Trump is rich. Way richer than anybody in Otter Creek. Like beyond richer than anybody in Otter Creek. I'm pretty sure you could take everybody together in Otter Creek. And I'm going to say probably Cedar Key. And I'm probably going to say Bronson and maybe even Chiefland. And we're still not going to touch anywhere near the income the man
Why
makes.
not go Levy County?
All right, let's go all
The
of Levy
entire
County.
county.
I'm pretty sure the man amasses more income and is richer than all of Levy County combined. But, can you, I just, the ignorance and the stupidity and the foolishness. He is Trump for Otter Creek. People want him to be the mayor of Otter Creek. They don't want the rich to be the mayor. Okay. All right. So they want Trump to be the mayor, not the rich. And this is the ignorance that we have to deal with from this small group of people on a daily basis. Many of you may be thinking, okay, well, what happened to Madam Mayor Therese? And Therese stepped down. And we never heard about that in a meeting. There was no official that I know of that she stepped down. There was just a posting that said there's a seat open. And we saw her resignation letter online. I'm going to bring it up right now. It was posted in a group, and I'm going to see if I can read it right now. I'm bringing it up. I know it's in here somewhere. We've seen it. Okay, here it is. All right, I got it right here. December 30th, okay? And remember, Form 6 was the law that was instituted that said that all small government officials had to report every asset and liability, okay? So anything over $1,000, you have to report. I mean, could you imagine that in my own life, to number one, have to report everything? If this chair I'm sitting in is $1,000, I have to report this. All right, there's another chair, there's another $1,000. There's another chair, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000. Okay, if that stove is $1,000, I have to report that. George, this machine right behind you, this machine right here is $1,000 machine right here. It's an espresso machine. There's $1,000. There's another one right here. There's $1,000. Okay, anything, and if I get it wrong, I have penalties up to $20,000. Number one, not worth it to get it wrong. I got Rudolph, the elk out here, way over $1,000. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere around me. Now I have to get all my jewelry appraised. I mean, George and I have all of our jewelry that we find in storage units just in totes. And then now I have to get that appraised. And I have to incur that a cost to get it appraised. And this one's worth $1,000. And I literally have to list out everything I have that's worth over $1,000. Oh, I have an emerald necklace. It's worth $4,550. I have an emerald this. I have a sapphire that. I have this, diamond this, everything. And if it's wrong, $20,000 penalty. Number one, not worth it. Number two, nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know. Now, I understand the intent of Form 6. And you have to understand that also all higher level government officials have already been a part of this. And that's okay. That's the direction that they've chosen to go. In my life, I don't believe that anybody needs to know what I have or where it's at. And so if I share it with you publicly, then you see it. But I don't need to be listing it, and it doesn't need to be listed for the world to show up and go, well, boom, Jeremy has this and this and this and this and this, and Jeremy's not here right now, he's over there, and I know when Jeremy's away, and then da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's really an invasion, a huge invasion of privacy. And the world's already trying to figure out, all right, how much is Jeremy Hale's worth? I look online all the time. And I can tell you, online is so far off, so far off in regards to what my wealth is, because I am worth Zero. I'm worthless. The reality is I'm worthless. And you're going, well, can't you take all of your assets and put it in LLCs and do that? I already have all my assets in LLCs. They're businesses. I have multiple LLCs, multiple businesses. It has nothing to do with it. You still have to list everything. And I'm still worthless. Hey, make a t-shirt with that. I'm sure some of you would buy it. Remember in the Elvis movie, George, when the Colonel goes, I love Elvis pins. And then he goes, I hate Elvis. He goes, hey, if you're gonna hate you, might as well make some money off of them. We're gonna sell I'm Worthless t-shirts by Jeremy Hales. If you're gonna hate, you might as well make some money off of you. The resignation letter is right here. We brought it up. We found it on the website. It says December 30th, 2023, to whom it may concern. I'm resigning as board member for the town of Otter Creek, effective immediately. I do not agree with the new law to provide such intrusive financial details. I believe it is a legislative overreach to require this in small towns where the pay is so low and it's more about people serving the communities. Thank you, Therese Granger. And she did. She served her community, and she served the community well. And frankly, she's probably the best mayor that this town has seen in the past 20 plus years. I mean, she did an incredible job. And you understand the complete and total mess that she walked into is complete and total garbage. The liability that Russ The Suss has placed this town into, the liability that Russ The Suss is going to continue to place this town into. It'd be very, very easy to wipe this town out like that. Now, when I say that, that means the incorporation of the town, the funds of the town. That does not mean the people. There are beautiful, precious people in this town. But this man has so incriminated and the aspect of liability, legal liability that he has created is mind-boggling. And we've seen that more and more and more as we continue to go through emails. All the way back to 2007. The only thing dumber than grandstanding outside of a town hall meeting, calling everyone else corrupt, as you are corruptly breaking sunshine law, is being so foolish not to delete your emails. All the way back to 2007. These people are crazy. Others have asked, is Belinda still with the town? As far as we know, Belinda is still with the town. Georgia actually texted her yesterday, and she said, yeah, everything's great. They're fine. They're doing well. They just had to cancel the town hall meeting because there was an emergency for one of the members. So, again, if we lose Belinda, boy, I don't know. I don't know what happens in town hall if we lose Belinda. We can't. And at some point, you lose everybody, right? At some point, George and I are going to be done with YouTube forever. We literally had a dinner date last night talking about when we plan to retire and from YouTube. And at some point, there's an ending of everything. And we can't afford. We can't afford to lose Belinda at this point. I think you guys know that, and we know that. And my fear is, my complete and total fear is, if Russell has anything to do with this town again, we lose Belinda. And now you're in a spiral out of control of more legal liability of what's going on in that office. And I don't doubt sheriff will come in and raid again. At some point, something is going to let loose. Something is going to happen, hands down. But my fear is, will Belinda be okay if this cute, of Russell, I'm going to be the new mayor? Okay, well, first of all, that hasn't happened. There's been plenty of times where these people have actually voted you out multiple times. Not to mention, back in 2010, they wanted rid of you for good, and then you tried to unincorporate the town. So is this you coming back trying to unincorporate the town again? Because honestly, if Russell's trying to unincorporate the town, which is the healthiest and the best thing for this place, I mean, all the ridiculousness of this place does not need a town hall meeting with people trying to corrupt, using their power. Absolute power corrupts what? Absolutely. You know that, I know that. We don't need more people in those positions doing those things and using that position inappropriately. And it's a false projection of power anyway. This is a town of 100 people, probably less, 71 registered voters. last election. 71 registered voters. What power is there in 71 registered voters? Water? In Otter Creek? I've had more employees than 71 working for me at one time. In 1 year, I've had over 150 employees running my own little town and my own little... In all reality, my business acreage was bigger than the town of Otter Creek. Acre per acre. My business acres were bigger than the town of Otter Creek. There is no power in Otter Creek. Otter Creek should all be about the people and helping the people. You'd be amazed at what this town could do if they just cleaned up their act. If they would just clean up their property. This could be the greatest place in the world. It is literally the center hub of all the major cities. Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa. We have swimming with the manatees. The only place in the world you can do it, 30 minutes south of here. Cedar Key. Boy, that's some good ice cream. Oatmeal cream pie ice cream. Like, this is the place to live if it gets cleaned up. I don't know that that's ever going to happen with a person like Russ The Suss, because he'd have to clean himself up. He seems a bit too far gone. But you know what? If he is pushing to unincorporate, like Don wanted the motion to unincorporate, hey, I'd even vote for Russ The Suss if he unincorporated us. Everybody wants to know when the next meeting is. Well, in the posting on the door, it said February 20th, I believe, or somewhere around there, from what I recall. I didn't look it back up.
It would be the third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday of the month. Oh, by the way, Albert Fuller even shows up. As a matter of fact, somebody has messaged us stating that they were watching the Williston town hall meeting, and he leaves at 6:30 to be at town hall at 7. Well, we were long gone by 7. We should have stayed. We should have stayed. Because he wouldn't have ran his mouth. As a matter of fact, if he did run his mouth, I'd call him out on all the things he's already done and being investigated for. And so here's my commitment. I will stay for the next meeting and every meeting to see exactly what happens. And if he starts this garbage again, I'll call him out on it. I got no problem. Remember, I'm the person in Otter Creek that doesn't talk about you behind your back. I'm the person that has no problem saying it to your face. Maybe I won't show, because every time I don't, he incriminates himself further and further.